Welcome to the Inner Space Covent Garden talk. Our talk this evening is overcoming procrastination. Have you found yourself saying, I'll do it tomorrow, whether it's preparing a presentation, ironing some clothes, going to bed on time, or working towards an important goal? Do you have the tendency of putting things off? We all know procrastination achieves nothing. Leave it for tomorrow, and things will only pile up until they leave you feeling stressed. Actually, doing something takes less time than procrastinating about it. And the longer we put something off, it seems like it's harder to get that particular task done. I think most of us will agree that's the case. So we've asked our speaker to explore how to overcome procrastination and take charge of our time. Our speaker, Mathias, is currently a stress and resilience coach. He's based in Zurich, Switzerland, which is where he's joining us from. Mathias is going to speak for around 40 minutes, and then he's going to do a short visualization meditation. And the idea of that is that it gives you time to take what you've heard and allow it to sink in. So it will become a tool or a perception that you can then take in and use in your life later on from tomorrow. After that, he'll be taking your questions. So please send in your questions via the question and answer link or via the chat. And I'll take those questions and put them to Mathias on your behalf. Mathias, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the invitation, and especially thanks for the opportunity to explore myself this topic, procrastination. I must say I do feel it's an important topic, and I would say that many think, yes, it is an issue. For me, it is something in my life that is there and that I would rather not like to be there. And so I was first asking myself, what is actually the difference between procrastination and postponing? And I think there is actually a big difference. Postponing, we do coming from an inner strength. Now it's an inner strength to see, no, now it's too much. This is not the right moment. I do it in 1 week. I do it tomorrow. Or maybe in one moment I have to change priorities. Oh, I would love to do it, but I can't do it now. I postpone it. So you come from a place of inner strength. So there is a good reason for postponing, and it's a voluntary act. But not so for procrastination. Procrastination is something we do because of an inner weakness. And that's a big difference. So I think it's great we have now 45 minutes to explore it and to think about it and honestly try to bring about a change in that. Now we could say, well, why is it so necessary? Why after all should I have to change it? Everybody has some weaknesses. Someone has this, someone has that. No doubt, this is certainly true. But why do you want to overcome procrastination? For one simple reason. Because it causes us suffering. No doubt, I think it does cause us suffering. We don't feel good about it. We sometimes lose our self-respect. Sometimes we lose our patience with ourselves. Sometimes we feel ashamed, we feel guilty, and there is not this power inside that we would like to feel. And it's interesting, when I see what happens in myself, I dare to say always, when I do something that I have been procrastinating, two things happen in the self. First, almost always, I feel, oh, actually, it was much less bad than I thought, or it's much less hard, or it's much less difficult. So that's one of my experience. Always I think, oh, that was quite okay, it went well. One experience. A second experience, I feel very happy. Suddenly there's this energy of happiness, this energy of feeling alive, a good feeling for myself. And then I think, but hold on. Suddenly I feel this energy, so it must have been blocked before, isn't it? So it's like this river of life, the river of life force. When we procrastinate many things, big things, small things, I feel we are like blocking this river of life force until it becomes a little trickle of water, a little trickle of life energy. And maybe sometimes if we feel a bit low, or we feel, I don't know, in German we say beside our shoes, maybe that works also for English, but we don't feel, this enthusiasm. So I think it can also be connected with, because we are procrastinating. And the life force is blocked. So it is actually worthwhile to have a look at it, and that's what we're going to do. But also, we want to see how can I overcome it. So I like this picture. It looks nice, the different colors, and it represents somehow also this topic, procrastination, because it's something that it's not quite clear often inside. Why do I do it? I really want to do it from my heart, and still I don't do it. Is it because of me? Is it because of others? Am I postponing for a good reason, or is it procrastination? So it is a bit shimmery, this topic. And we want to get some more clarity. I think we do procrastinate in two different ways. One is like this, a big stone. Maybe we feel that's something big, a project that I should start, a presentation that I should start preparing, maybe a very difficult phone call that I should be doing since a while, or something new to start. So this is one way of procrastinating. We don't start. We know it's a process, but we don't start. And then there's other way of procrastinating. You see here, this little stone? This represents a little task. Maybe there's something laying around in my flat, and I walk past by once, twice, 3 times, 10 times, and then it becomes normal. I just don't do it. And I feel even I don't have time for that. But it's not a reality. And then maybe something else, I should be ironing something, or maybe here, the dirty dishes. I could do it straight away, but I just place it there in the kitchen table. And then something else again, a phone call, someone I should inform about something. And so little things that are piling up. And I think that could even be interconnected. And that these little things that we don't do during the day, it can block the energy, it can block my courage to such an extent that I lack then the energy or the power to even start the big, very important tasks in my life. So I feel when we are talking about overcoming procrastination, it's about both the big things that we don't dare to start, and the small things. And I feel when we procrastinate these many little things, here's something, there's something, it almost becomes a lifestyle. It's like it becomes a part of my life. And it's even in the brain waves. And the good thing is we can actually change it. Even though it is in the brain waves, we can change that. And this is what science tells us nowadays. There were different opinions decades ago, but now they know that the brain is plastic in the sense of it keeps changing. We can form our brain. So when we start new habits, at some point, so we start something once, we do it twice, 3 times, 10 times, 50 times, and it becomes normal. This habit becomes normal, it becomes a part of my lifestyle. It will also show even in the brain waves. And this is what we want with overcoming procrastination. We want more and more. We won't achieve that in one go to 100% for sure. But we want that this is normal to do things when, here and now. Not with everything. We have the power to postpone. We have the wisdom to postpone. If it's too much, it's not necessary. But in general, you get a thought and you do it. And the importance of that, it's about the power of now. There is some energy in the present moment. When you get the inspiration, sometimes we say touching from inside, or the thought from inside, the inspiration from inside. You get the thought, do it. I could do that. I should do it. There is some power there, because there is a reason why you have this thought right now, isn't it? You could have had this thought like a year back, but no, you had it now. So there is a blessing, a special power in the moment. And when we do it, and then we can achieve it much more easier than when we try to do it sometime later. So I went on the internet and I was wondering, what do others say about overcoming procrastination? So I was listening to a TED Talk. I saw a YouTube film, and then I asked ChatGPT, and so these were the things that came up. Set a name, set your aims, become clear about your aims, set priorities, create a good work environment where there is little distraction or no distraction. Use PC tools, for example, that would block certain websites like YouTube so you don't get distracted. And then have a reward system for yourself. And so I printed that out. Here it is, a whole list what you can do. But having this list for me, I felt it doesn't give me any strength actually to overcome this. It's a set of ideas, but it became very clear I have to do some inner work. I have to start thinking about it. And then only when I start thinking about it, dealing with this topic, and then I build up inner strength, and then we need an action plan. And so this is the plan for tonight. What we're now doing is we're staring inside the mind, inside the soul. We want to see what's going on here. We want to understand. And so we want to become a little expert in my way of how I procrastinate. And then, yes, we need an action plan. We need to become clear. Okay, I can do this, I can do this, and I can do that. I don't need 100 different approaches. I need a few things that I can say, yes, let me do that. And then, for sure, everybody of us can change procrastination, little by little. So we are actually dealing here with an inner weakness. And there's different ways people deal with their inner weaknesses. There's fruitful ways and not so fruitful ways. What do I mean with that? So this type of dealing with inner weaknesses, I call that the wildflower. Why wildflower? Have you ever tried to bring back life into a wilted flower? It doesn't work. It's gone. It's past. And so when we deal with our weaknesses like a wildflower, and then it's like we have given up. We think it's not possible. That's how I am. That's part of my personality. That's part of my life. And that's how it will stay now and forever. This is of course, not a productive way of dealing, or not a productive approach to dealing with inner weaknesses. We have to put it aside. We have to build again this trust in myself. No, nothing is forever. In this world, nothing is forever. Anything keeps changing, keep changing. So why should a personality trait of myself, why should that stay with me forever? It's not realistic. Then this personality trait wouldn't be part of that world, because this is a world of change. So let us get back to this inner trust. Yes, I can change is possible, and I want to change. So this is one type of person to deal with inner weaknesses. Another type is this, the self-basher. So what is that? The self-basher is constantly blaming the self in his self-talk. I'm so stupid, again I did it, and I will never get it. Look, others, they can do it, I can't do it. So that's also very counterproductive. We need to be kind to ourselves. We need to have empathy. We know that we need to have empathy for others, but also we need empathy for the self. So what is the empathy regarding procrastination? We have to see that this is a topic of the whole society. Why? There must be a reason for it. Because there is so much in today's life. There is so many things to do. There is such a variety of everything. There is such a fast communication with our technology. There is such an abundance of tasks. The sheer volume of tasks that should be done or could be done can be overwhelming. And so everything is a lot. It's complex. And I think the result of this complexity of today's world leads to many, many people having these problems with procrastination. So we need to come away from being a self-basher and being self-passionate, and speaking to ourselves like, come on, I can do it. Others can, I can also change it. The third type, this one here, I call this type the excusist. So the type of person who have an excuse for everything. So they don't even come to the point where they can truly and honestly look at the self. What is actually going on here? Why is that weakness in me? How can I change that? It's always the circumstances, it's always others, it's always not the right time, it's always too difficult, too complex. So it's never about the self. Excusist has excuses for everything and everyone. So this also doesn't bring us any further in our overcoming of procrastination. So I would suggest that we become this type. This type can actually actively deal with inner weaknesses, and this is the transformer. The transformer, he becomes interested. Oh, what is actually going on here? So there is self-reflection, and he wants to understand, and he is ready to face it with honesty, and to look at this weakness and see what is behind this. Okay, there is this weakness, but why? What is behind it? And then he has the courage to say, now let me change that. Let me transform that weakness into an inner strength. So, how is that? How does that sound for you? I think this is the only way that we can deal with inner weakness is in a good way. So we need to look at the self. How does actually procrastination work? What is the philosophy of procrastination? What is happening inside? So you see, often we are just seeing here the outcome. Action, either I do it, great, or I don't. I procrastinate. So I know I want to do it, and I know I do not want to procrastinate. I should not. So I tell myself, come on, just do it. And so I must now see in this black box what is actually happening before. What is the reason why I am doing something, or why I am not doing something, why I'm procrastinating? And this is the approach that I would like to offer tonight. I think this is not so easily found. When I Googled, when I looked on YouTube, when I listened to TED Talks, I didn't find that there's many answers about the subtle inner mechanisms. So what is happening? We see, when we look inside, we will notice that before the action, there is a thought, and the thought leads to a feeling, and the result is, I'm doing it, I have the power to do it, or I don't, I procrastinate. So there could be a thought like, I don't like it. And then the feeling comes. Maybe you have several times a thought, no, I really don't like it. And then the feeling emerges from that thought. I don't like it. I feel it. I don't like it. And then as a result, you don't do it. Or there could be the thought, that's too difficult. In a split of a second, that's too difficult. And then you have a few times this thought, and you start experiencing, yes, it's too difficult. And because you then have this feeling and this experience, you don't do it because you think it's too difficult. So when I started preparing for this topic, I suddenly, many times a day, I had the thought, you have to do it anyway, right? That's an accurate thought when it comes to procrastinate. I procrastinate, but be realistic. I have to do it anyway. Maybe there are things we procrastinate which we don't have to do it eventually, but then this is like cancel. Okay, I cancel that. I forget about it. But mostly we procrastinate and then at some point we have to do it. But then it's harder, it's more difficult. So this very thought, simple thought, I have to do it anyway. This was such a tremendous help for me. I have to do it anyway. And so immediately I would do it. And during the day, I felt like 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, 10 times, this thought, I have to do it anyway, would actually in one split second, would take me out, away from the tendency to procrastinate, into the mode of, come on, let's do it. I hope you get that. I hope this is understandable, because I think it is really important. If we want to change this action, we actually need to work on that. We need to change our thoughts. When we change our thoughts, the feelings, they will also change. And then the actions. And now there is question, is this all? Or can I work even on a more subtle level? And there is an even more subtle level to that. And this is the attitude. What is my internal attitude? And here it becomes really interesting. The attitude is like a compass, or like a machine who is set for one way of working. So if my attitude is set in a certain direction, it leads to the same type of thoughts. And this can be thoughts that trigger the internal powers of the soul, that would give me the strength to put things into practice, or my attitude can be set in such a way that it again and again results in thoughts that actually block the powers of the soul, block my courage, block my enthusiasm. So for you to understand, I give a few examples of attitude. So one attitude could be, my attitude is, whatever I do, it has to be perfect. Whatever I do, it has to be perfect. And I don't even realize that I carry this attitude in me. But if I have this attitude, then the thought would be often, no, that's too difficult. Or no, I can't do it now. Because I set the barrier so high that it's difficult to start. There is subtle fear that I won't match to this level that I have set for myself. Another attitude, I just give 2-3 examples. Another attitude could be the attitude, life must be easy. Life should be such that it should not be a hassle. Things should go easy. One should not have to work hard for things. So if I carry this attitude in me, and then as a result of this attitude, I show again the slide. As a result of this attitude, life should be easy, I would get thoughts in this direction. No, I can't do it. That's too hard. No, that's too tiring. No, I don't want to do that. So I need to change the attitude if I want to change this procrastination, the actions here, I need to change the attitude. And how do I do that? By talking to myself. It's normal that we have to do things that are a little bit harder. I can do things that are difficult. I can do things that are difficult. Or an attitude could be that I only can start important big tasks when the little things are over. So my list of to-dos, this has to be finished first, and then I will start with this important project because I need space for that, I need time for that. The problem is it will never happen, right? Because there's always something to do, something little to do, something little to do. So I have to change this attitude inside. I have to tell myself, no, this is important. I do it now, no matter how many little things there are pending. I start doing it now. So when we work on the attitude, then we are on a very subtle level of inner transformation. And again, it is the internal attitude that leads to the powers of the soul, like courage, like strength, enthusiasm, stamina. The attitude either blocks these energies of the soul or it brings them into a flow. So that means that the preparation in the morning for my day could be like me talking to myself 10 times, 15 times. Nothing is too difficult for me to at least give it a go. Or I have the courage to start with everything. And otherwise there are desires in the attitude, like the desire for a very peaceful life. The desire for perfection. And so these desires, they block me out. I created them, I can undo them by consciously thinking different thoughts. So now let's become even more practical. Overcoming procrastination, power steps. And what are the power steps that we can take? And when do we do that? Now. Now can be tonight. For example, I know many people, me included, many people have the problem that they go to bed late. And I saw that often, for me, for example, a thought pattern or the attitude, the desire could be, no, the day is over, no, many things I did, I want to reward myself, let me check my, maybe let me do some social media, or let me check the news on my mobile, so I want to reward myself. And so I can change that inside, and I can create the attitude, the biggest reward, I can tell myself, the biggest reward is go to bed early. Enjoy that. Enjoy getting up rested, well rested in the morning. So creating a different attitude. So I'm looking at time. Let's see what these 5 steps are that I propose. So maybe this is something you want to note down and then put it into, translate it for you what it means practical. So the question is, what do I truly want? my aim cannot be I want to overcome procrastination, because it's about what I want. Why do you want to overcome procrastination? Find that out. For example, I want to live in the here and now, or I want to feel the happiness of doing things immediately. See the difference? I want to overcome procrastination, or I want to experience the happiness of doing things in the now. So we should focus on what I want, not what I do not want. So find out what is really what you want to achieve, or maybe you realize that if I would not procrastinate, there would be much more time in my life. So you can then tell yourself, I want to have the maximum time. That's why I do everything instantly. Then tracking success. So I was experimenting for a few days. I had this little booklet, and I was carrying that with me the whole day. And whenever I did something immediately, I would note it down, this and this, and I ticked it, done. And so it gives a very good feeling, and you actually notice that, oh, so many things I'm actually doing. And then maybe you catch yourself, oh, I just wanted to procrastinate that, but because you're doing this, immediately you do it. I was really amazed how many times a day I could overcome again and again this tendency to procrastinate. And it felt so easy and natural with the little things. Just do it. You have to do it anyway. So tracking success, that helps a lot. And then, what is the most important task today? The most important task. Find out for yourself either in the morning or maybe even the day in the evening before. Tomorrow, what is the most important task? And then the next day, either do it as the first thing in the morning or note it down in your agenda what time you're going to do it. And really make it clear to yourself, and I will not sacrifice this time frame to anything else. This is the most important, and I will do it. Maybe you can't finish. If it's a big task, just set half an hour aside for that. And you will see it's really an energy bomb, because it is the most important task. And when you do it, so much energy is released, and you will feel very good with the self. And so there's two more things. This is something ongoing. Check your attitude. What is my attitude? If you find yourself not doing something that you should, that you would like to do it, why is there a subtle fear to actually do it? Check your attitude and change that. Create a supportive attitude, one that gives you strength and courage. And then the last point, morning and evening, take 5-10 minutes. If you're meditating anyway, fantastic. But otherwise, just take 5 or 10 minutes and release courage and power in the soul to achieve your aim. How do you do that? This is what we're going to try out in a moment. In a short visualization, just tell yourself, become silent. I've just explained first and then we do it. But every morning, every evening, make a little time where you just sit. You don't read, you don't listen, you don't do anything. You just repeat to yourself, I have the courage and the power to do anything. I have the courage and the power to start any work. Nothing is too difficult, nothing is too scary. I can start anything immediately. So, if you do that over a number of days, you will feel that this energy in the soul, it's a power in the soul that is there. And with these thoughts, you start releasing that. And it will then be available for you during the day to do what you have to do, to start whatever you have to start. And it will help you so much in overcoming procrastination. So now we do a short exercise, just for you to get an idea how you could do this preparation in the morning and even in the evening. Okay? So you can close your eyes or you can keep them open as you feel. Relax your body. Relax your breathing. And with every breath, you become more and more relaxed. Put a slight smile on your face. And create good feelings for yourself. See how many things you get done. In your private life, at work, anything. When it comes to take care of your body, of your health. There's so many things you get done every day. So this lets me understand that there is this power, this tremendous power in the soul to do, to put into practice, to put my hands into something, to take care of what I need to care for. And create this certainty inside that nothing is too big. I can start anything. I have the courage. I have the strength. Even little things. I have the power to do it now. And also for the big things, for the big tasks, for the challenging tasks. I have the power, the courage to start. And always I will start. And I will see that life starts cooperating immediately. Immediately life starts cooperating. And nothing has to be perfect in the first go. So every morning, every evening, I take a moment to talk in this way to myself. I have the power in the soul to do everything that's needed here and now. And for 1 minute, see yourself how you walk through life. Not procrastinating anything. See that power. See how you feel good about it. See how you walk through life. Always doing the things that need to be done. See yourself. Om Shanti. Thanks so much for your attention.
Thank you so much for sharing 5 PowerPoints. That was for procrastination. That was really brilliant. I will walk away with those for sure. So the first question I have already that's come through is, how do you manage a situation where you know something has to be done soon, if not immediately, but the other person procrastinates? This could be at work or at home.
The other person, okay, I haven't thought about that. But the thing is, I only can do my part. I only can play my role. I cannot play someone else's role. So let's say we are all actors in a piece of theater. So, and my turn is to come onto the stage. And I see someone else is not ready. Will I go on the stage or not? I will. Because why should I mess up my role because somebody else doesn't do what he or she should? So I go on stage, I play my role, and then I try to be smart enough, well, if now I should be acting with the other person and the other person is not there, I try to do the best I can without the person. So I would adjust the scene. I try to not confuse the audience, but I will definitely play my part. And this is just an analogy for work. I do the best I can for myself, and that's also good enough. And for example, if then one part is to talk to the other person, look, I'm really, I need your cooperation in that. Can I help you? Should we start your part together? Is some information missing for you? Or what would help you? So maybe that could be a way of dealing with it. But I do my part. And then if this doesn't work, and then my work gets even affected, maybe I would even have to escalate it and say, but I can do that in a friendly way, not in an aggressive way. Aggressiveness is never good, it's always destructive. But even in an informative, friendly way, I can say, look, I feel responsible for this. It's important for me that I do a good job, and I need your part to be played. Please do that, and if you can't do that, I have no choice than going to the team leader and inform and ask what I should do in this case. So like this, that's also part of me taking responsible for my part. That's what I would suggest.
Thank you. The next question is, or somebody's sharing actually, and I think many of us will resonate with this. Thank you for your insights. I have been a wilting flower and a self-basher and for a long time, and I'm very good at giving excuses. I don't know how to change, but I do like your sense of humor. I find that procrastination is the easy way out.
Right.
Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah. So first of all, it always touches me, when people are really honest and that gives others also the right to be open and honest about their weaknesses. I always find this very refreshing. So, and then we find out that actually others are in the same boat. Many have the same challenges. So, wildflower, self-basher, excuses. I think it's really connected with subtle fears or feelings of not being good enough. So, how can we change that? How can we change that? And the way I see it, and I don't know whether there is actually another way, but there is always one way, I would say. We need to change self-talk and we need to prepare. So what do I mean with this? Let's say I have actually something to say at my working place in a team, for example. I would have to raise my voice. In a sense, I would have to speak up with something, clarify something, but then I don't do it. I procrastinate. No, today is not good. No, today the atmosphere is quite nice, so I can't do it. And then so I procrastinate. I lack the strength, the courage to do it. But then inside, the tension is building up. The tension is building up. How to get out of this vicious circle? I think in the moment, when we are in the moment, when the thing is happening, what I want to change, I don't have the power to do it, to work on me right then. The way out is preparation. So when I know, for example, I have this difficult situation at work, so I can start preparing maybe 1, 2, 3 days beforehand, or at least in the morning. That's what I really say. I take this example from my own experience, and I really feel it works. So you start building up inside your courage. So for example, I could say to myself, and I have the right to express my needs. It's important that every team member expresses what he and she feels. And my contribution, it is important. I have to speak it up. I know not everybody will like it. Some will like it, some don't like it. I have to express it. You see, building up courage. That's one example. I just take another example. Let's say if you find yourself going late to bed every night. How to break that vicious circle? So you actually start in the morning. You bring it into your thoughts. Tonight, it will be so nice when I go early to bed. It will feel so good. I will reward myself like this. I know there will be the thought of watching TV, watching maybe Netflix series or whatever. But no, I will go early to bed. So whatever you want to put into practice, you prepare yourself well ahead and you repeat that, what you're going to do. And then you manage to put it into practice. And this is the first step of change. You have done it once, you have done it the second time, third time it will be easier, fourth time maybe you have a setback, and then the fifth time again you try it. So this is how we change. Preparing before the situation where I would normally procrastinate. How to prepare? With my thought. I will definitely do it. I have the power to do it. I am worth doing it. That's my suggestion.
Thank you. I think you've answered somebody else's question. They were saying, can you give some practical examples of how to go to bed early? You've just done that. Thank you so much. The next question is, how do you wean yourself? I don't know how you would translate that, but how do you stop yourself from having little forms of escapism? I would love to not have the desire for this, or am I asking too much of myself?
Escapism, in a sense of, is that connected with social gathering, for example? You escape, you disappear.
Let's see if the person can share some more thoughts on that. The person who sent this question through, would you like to explain what you're hoping to have clarified? While they're doing that, I'm going to ask you another question.
Mm-hmm.
And the person, I think they're saying, if that's okay, I do cope with tiredness. How do you cope with tiredness when doing a task?
Yes, so when there is tiredness, I think we have to empower ourselves spiritually. That's what we are talking now mainly. We work with the spirit, we work with the attitude on a very subtle level. So when there is tiredness, I think there's different things that I need to check. For example, is there a physiological reason for my tiredness? I mean, we have to be very practical. If there is a lack of iron, it can make you feel tremendously tired. And then, of course, this has then a ripple effect, or lack of vitamin D. Like vitamin D, if there is no movement in your life, if there is nothing refreshing happening, no meeting of new people, for example. I had phases in my life where no encounters with new people, always being the same setup. So this can make you feel tired. Or what also can make you feel tired is, for example, when I go against my own intuition. For example, I actually really don't feel like I should be doing that. For one reason, I just feel it's not my part. Maybe it's even something good. But somehow I feel, no, it's not my thing. And then if I do it anyway, that creates a lot of tiredness. Going against myself, against my values, against my destination, against my purpose, against my intuition. So that can, when a lot of tiredness is there, this can be checked. And something more I would like to mention, if there is resistance. For example, let's say at work there is some change, some restructuring. Who likes that? Nobody. But it happens. And it is also happening for good reasons. So if I resist to change, then it consumes a lot of my energy. How can I overcome that? I have to tell myself, just accept it. Go with the flow. Don't think you always know better. Restructuring is not necessary. Restructuring is not good. Maybe it is necessary. Maybe it will lead to something good. I cooperate. Go with the flow. Come on. Give yourself in. So this kind of empowering self-talk can break the inner resistance, and then energy is released. Or procrastination, that locks my energy. So I hope that answers the question.
Thank you. Very practical. The question that was being asked earlier,
Yeah.
how do I stop myself from little forms of escapism? So like using social media or Netflix or
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's really something that's a challenge for so many. I mean, social media are designed. I mean, we have to be quite realistic with that. Social media are designed to make us addicted. And maybe, the people who design it, maybe they don't intend to make us addicted, but they would want to make it as attractive as possible, isn't it? And so what happens is it becomes so attractive that we do even though we actually don't want to. And we from the heart, we want to do other things, but the other pulls us back. So just yesterday, I was having a conversation about procrastination with a young lady, a ninth standard, because I was wondering, what are her thoughts about procrastination, and she said, yes, many of us, we are addicted to social media, we are addicted to Netflix series. So how to come out? First, I think we need to accept, yes, it creates suffering. It's not that that it creates something good in me, it creates suffering in my life. And this, to see and accept this very honestly, without bashing the self, but just as a realization, actually, it feels in the moment as if it was something good, but actually it creates suffering in my life. So, and then you want to be practical, you want to take decision. Do I want to delete my Facebook account? Do I want? Am I ready to do it? Do I want to delete it maybe for 3 months as a detox period? And then afterwards, I go back to it with a new pattern, with a new way of using it. Do I want this? Am I ready for it? Maybe I'm not. Maybe I don't want that. That's also fine. But how long do I want to use it? Can I fix a time? Maybe I write a time. And then you write it down. You stick it to the mirror in your bathroom or over the bed, just somewhere visible. And then you have that. So you have now a clear aim. And then you ask yourself, but what would I do instead? What would I do instead? And this, what you would do instead, has to be more attractive than what you give up. Otherwise, psychologically, why would you do it? Not just to sit around being bored. I would not give up anything for that. So you have to be clear, I want something else, and this is more attractive. Okay? And then the next step is the internal processing. tonight I won't do it. I know it will be a tremendous attraction. I know there will be temptation. I won't do it. I close my phone at 7 p.m. and I won't start it. And the world will keep turning. My life will go on. Nothing will happen. Only good will happen. I'm just giving examples. You build up inner strength. You build up motivation. And then you see, maybe you will be this evening 100% successful, maybe only 50%, but that's good. Next day, maybe you try it again, maybe you have a setback, doesn't matter. That's how change happens. And then that's how actually you progress. Maybe you try that out over a period of 3 weeks, and then you see things keep changing. You get control. You regain control over your using patterns of social media.
Thank you. There's 2 more questions, if that's okay. I think
Yes.
they're really quite important. One of them is, perhaps you've got an insight on this. And the question is, and I've just lost it. Gosh, here we are. How do you stop procrastination taking over your whole life?
So, okay, I understand this question in such a way that that it's not about little things, that it's a little bit annoying. If something is overtaking my whole life, that means I almost become a little bit, or maybe more than a little bit, dysfunctional. It starts disrupting my working life, maybe. It starts impacting my health, my physical health, my social network, my social health, my mental, spiritual health. If this is the case, I would say, and I think that's really important, why should we beat ourselves around with that alone without taking help? Why should we do that? Why should we not immediately seek help? And this can be on different levels. It can be help from a friend of mine, just opening up. Look, I really have a problem with that, and I need to change that. Can you support me? I know you're good in this, and I have to change something. Can you support me for the next 3 weeks? This can be with someone in the household. Maybe I see others around me have the same problem. Bring them together. Let's do something. We cannot continue like this. I'm giving suggestions, just ideas. It can be that I go and see a psychologist and I tell myself, yes, I'm worth it. I will spend some money. I can afford it. I will spend some money for 2-3 sessions, and I really want to work on that. Or you go for a retreat, a detox retreat. You may find that there is opportunity offers on the internet. Maybe that could be something. Or if it's not a psychologist, go to a coach. There's so many coaches. And the good thing is, you go there and then someone is there for you, someone guides you through a process, someone sets a name with you, and you pay a little bit something for it, and this is actually good. It gives you also strength. This is something. And then as a last thing that I would like to mention, meditation and mindfulness. Mindfulness helps us to build a distance between me and situations. I can see things more clearly. And meditation builds up the inner strength to deal with situation. It releases the original powers in the soul. So if you haven't done, I really suggest to do a meditation course with the Brahma Kumaris. I think thousands of people are helped with that. In the West, it's not so known, but in India, hundreds of thousands, and this is the land of meditation, of yoga. So there's many options, and yet hundreds of thousands do that and actually benefit from it.
And this is the final question.
Yep.
What do I do if I procrastinate because I know my action will trigger trauma? For example, dealing with paperwork after my husband's death.
I procrastinate. Arti, can you say again? I procrastinate because it
will trigger trauma, an emotional reaction that will hurt me.
if I don't procrastinate.
No, if I'm procrastinating because I know that this is going to cause me pain and trauma. So, and the person's giving a very practical example. For example, my husband who used to do all the paperwork, and now I'm having to deal with it after his death.
Right.
To remind me of all of that.
Right. I understand. I would say also, I would take help from someone, a good friend, where you really trust. And the first few times, can we do that together? And you prepare the other person. Look, I can tell you already now, it will be emotional for me, or maybe doing some healing work first, also in a therapy, or with friends, or with anything that help. Doing some healing work, and definitely not accuse the self or putting the self down, but talking to the self very lovingly, and in an uplifting way, like, come on, you can do it. No, he would be happy seeing, he will be happy seeing me this. I can do it. But maybe take someone at your side for a few times, and then it becomes easier with time.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your insights, your compassion, and your practical wisdom that you've shared this evening.